welcome to my channel. I am Maria, aka Agape Love Girl. Thank you so much for joining me today. But today I want to have a little bit of a discussion video talking about favorites and why I don't do favorites videos. Now you may or may not have noticed that I don't do those. You may or may not care. And I don't think it's a big deal, but for some reason this topic kind of came to mind. I'm not sure if someone was asking my favorites about something, or somehow the topic kind of came to my mind about favorites videos, and I was like, oh, maybe I should kind of like explain a little bit about that and why I don't do that. And let me just preface this by just saying I don't really have a problem with people doing favorites videos. I actually enjoy watching favorites videos because it's a way for me to like learn about some new products that I maybe haven't heard of before, or just hear someone's opinions on products, and I do find them interesting. But for me personally, there are a few reasons why I don't do favorites videos, and I want to talk about that as well as talk about how you can figure out what my favorites are if you are curious. Now I do have a little list here in the notes on my phone, so if I'm looking down and reading, that is why. I do want to try to keep this video brief because we all know that when I start talking, it could go on forever, and I want to kind of keep this video concise and just kind of get to the point and let you guys know some things and my thoughts. So with that, let's go ahead and get into the first little point that I have. And this, I wrote, I don't use enough new makeup each month to have new favorites each month. And while I do get a lot of new products all the time, I mean, some weeks and months are busier than others, but just because I am trying new products doesn't mean it's gotta instantly be my favorite. So I like to try things for quite a while before, I mean, even before I do reviews and things like that. And so I just don't feel like I would have enough content, enough product to be able to like do a monthly, or even some people do weekly. Do people do weekly? That would be insane. But monthly mostly is what I see. No, because I feel like people do like Friday favorites. Yeah. Wait, do people still do that? Anyway, sorry, now I'm getting off a tangent. At least monthly. Even monthly, I feel like I'm not trying enough new products in the month to be like, this is my favorite. My next point is something that I kind of touched on just briefly in my last point, but I wrote down, I don't like calling something a favorite when I haven't used it enough. Yes, sometimes there are instant hits. There have been times like that, but to have new favorites every month is just too much for me, and it really is. I can't sit here and think about like, oh, I've tried this new product this month and it's my favorite. Like have to sit down and gather my thoughts of the month of products that I've used, I just feel like would be like, I just can't do that. I can't imagine having new favorites every month. For some reason, that just blows my mind. And I feel like also, I don't know if I wrote this down, I might get to it. If I do, I apologize. But I feel like, for me, favorites videos from me personally would probably be a little bit boring because I tend to be very loyal to the products that I love. And I think if I did a favorites video, it would kind of be a lot of the same stuff all the time. But I would try not to include the same stuff, and then I would have to include new stuff, and then it would almost feel like forced, like just trying to come up with favorites to share, and that's not real, it's not genuine, it's not me. And so yeah, that's a big reason. So how can you know what my favorites are? Now you could always just ask me like, hey, do you have a favorite mascara? Do you have a favorite this? And I will most likely be able to give you an answer, but here's how you will here's how you can really tell if something is my favorite. Okay, this is twofold actually, and I have it written down, so I'm just gonna read it. So I wrote, you might see it panned or used up, and on a side note of that is I do plan to do more empties videos so I can relay that if there are any true favorites in those empties videos. I did an empties video recently and I talked about how I hadn't done that in years, but I have, as I've been thinking about it, I've been thinking that I kind of do want to do empties videos more frequently. That way you guys can see what I'm using up and I can give better reviews on things. And let you know, because I've used up the product. I could say like, I really love this has become a favorite, or at least a staple to me, something that I feel like I don't want to be without and I'm going to be repurchasing. And I just find that just so much more valuable than just saying this is my favorite and here's the reason why, and then you like really never hear me talk about it or use it again, and it's like, what? As well as like reviews. I mentioned in a recent video that I was so over reviews and I'm considering stopping them on my channel. Only one person commented about that, so I'm not sure like how everybody else feels about it, but I know that it was probably a little bit surprising. And that doesn't mean that I'm going to, I just want to clarify because I'm kind of talking about that here. Me not doing reviews doesn't mean I'm gonna stop sharing and telling you guys my opinions on products. It just means I'm gonna stop putting so much pressure on myself to get a full dedicated review up and out for you guys, because believe it or not, and this is not that anybody else is putting this pressure on me, but I kind of put this pressure on myself that there has to, and there really should be. I think it just, if you're gonna review something, you really need to go all out, and this is my own pressure I put on myself. I want to be able to use it for more than just one time and more than just 1 week. I want to really try something in different ways, and there's just so many ways that can be open-ended and it can be exhausting, and I know I do this to myself and I don't need to, but that's just how I am. I feel like reviews just take so much out of me that it gets me so overwhelmed, and I don't need to be in that place. To where I just feel like this review is not good enough unless I've tried it this way and used it this and this and this. And then on top of that, those reviews, the videos that usually are dedicated, end up being so long and just so much, and I don't feel like people enjoy them enough or appreciate them enough for me to be continuing to put so much time and effort into them. And so that's kind of really where I was going when I'm talking about stopping doing reviews. And that's really just for my own sake and sanity. You guys can always still ask my opinion on something, and I will still share, and I do still plan on sharing, just in other ways. Now, some of those other ways, like I mentioned, and this is where I got off track, was I want to do reviews like in my empties videos, because then I feel like it can truly be a genuine review. I've used the product up, I know the ins and outs of it, and I can tell you this product just really didn't work for me, and here's why. Or this product is now a staple, it is a favorite for me, and here's why. And I can really genuinely feel great about sharing a real review with you guys through that. Additionally, I think what I also want to start doing, and don't hold me to this because I may or may not do this, but this is something that's been on my mind, is what I want to do is like group product overviews. And again, I don't want to say review because that's just too much pressure for me to put on myself, and for the expectation of what a review is, because a review is different to so many people. So I would like to do like group product overviews where I do a video and I share an overview of the new products that I've tried for the month or whatever it may be, or the week or whatever. Because like I said, I do get quite a bit of new products throughout the months or the weeks, and I am trying, and sometimes I don't even get to try new products, you know, because I'm still trying to test out other products that I've gotten the week before or the month before, and it's crazy. But anyways, I think it'd be really neat to like have a video where I kind of just say, okay, here's the new products that I've been using this month, that I received this month and I've been using. Here's my thoughts on them. They may not be complete thoughts, they may not be complete reviews, but I can tell you my experience, and since I'll be doing more than one product or item in the video, it'll be a variety of products. It won't be a dedicated video. It'll kind of force me to be brief and really just get the facts out there, the important stuff out there for you on each product, and then we could just move along, and you guys will be able to know if I still like those, how my opinions on those products, if you see me using them in other videos, or if you don't ever see me mention them again. That'll be a telling tell for you guys of my real thoughts on those products. And that brings me to the very, very last thing that I wrote in my notes. And again, I'm just going to go back to reading what I wrote, and I wrote down, you'll see me use it over and over again, or repurchase, which I will relay in empty. So if you want to know what something's my favorite, you're going to see me using it. Like, even though I don't necessarily always mention a product or mention a beauty tool or a brush, like, you'll know it's my favorite because you'll see me using it. Now I know that there are some products that, and here's another video idea actually, if you're interested, let me know. There are products that I use off camera, but I use all the time and I just don't mention them. Like, I try to mention very often when I'm doing my tutorials what's on my brows, because I don't always do that stuff on camera, but I'm pretty much using the same products every time. So you guys already know, if you're familiar with my videos, that I've got the It Cosmetics Brow Power Powder and Pomade on my brows. It's a favorite because that's what I always use. But you know, I don't always mention it. I mentioned in another recent video that the eyeliner I always wear, and I always have it on, usually always have it on at the start of my videos, and I don't ever mention what eyeliner that is. I did mention it recently just because I thought, you know what, I need to mention this. I never mention what this is, but it's one of my favorite products, and I should, you know, for anybody curious, mention that. But again, like I was saying, that could be another video idea or video topic where I tell you all the products that I use on the daily that maybe I don't mention on camera. So that's a thought, because I know there are those products that I do use, you just don't see me. But either way, I can, you know, relay that and going back to doing empties, or you'll see me using it over and over again. And then just expanding on that, I'm going to read what I wrote. I said, if you like me enough and care about my opinion enough to want to know my favorites, then I would guess you'd be really familiar with my videos and watch enough of them to know what my favorites are. Why? Because they will be the products you'll see me use time and time again, without an apology of that, oh, I'm sorry, I'm using this brand again. Because no, I'm not sorry for genuinely using and loving a product, whether I do or don't get anything out of it. So that was kind of like my last big spiel. I feel like there's so often, and maybe it's just, no, it's not just now, but I do feel like, I'm just gonna say, I feel like there is a lot of like stuff going on with certain beauty influencers. I'm just gonna say it, Jaclyn Hill's the main one that comes to mind, and people being up in arms because all she does is use Morphe and things like that. And while yes, a lot of people can argue that that is because she earns so much money by mentioning them and using them, but at the same time, I think like when you genuinely love a brand or product, you just can't help but want to always use them. I mean, I feel like, and maybe I feel like that way because I feel like the same could be said about me with NBA Cosmetics. Yes, you guys know that I've worked with them. I do have an affiliate code with them, but even before I worked with them, before I had an affiliate code with them, they were a brand that I loved, genuinely loved, and still genuinely loved. I don't want to say loved like it's past tense, but that I loved then before there was anything in it for me. I just loved that brand. And you guys will know that because you see me using them all the time. And so, you know, it should be clear, like, okay, that's like one of her favorite brands because that's what she uses genuinely and genuinely loves them. And sometimes I mention my code and sometimes I don't mention my code. It's just, you know, but anyways, going back to just in general, you'll see me using products that I love. And there are times where I may be using a product to use it up or pan it, but I don't necessarily do that because, and I talked about this kind of in a video I did about why I don't do project pans, because I feel like sometimes you're forced to use products you don't like just to finish them up. I don't think I'll ever be the type of person who does that, who will just keep using product just to use it up just because I like need to use it up. If I don't like it, I'm not going to force myself to use it. But if you genuinely see me using up a product over and over again, or just using a product over and over again, it's safe to say that's probably one of my favorite products. And that's how you're going to know. I just feel like I shouldn't have to say, not that I shouldn't have to, that it should be apparent to you guys what I like, the brands I like, the products I like, because you're gonna genuinely see me use them and love them, even if I'm not getting anything out of it, which let me just tell you right now, I don't really get anything out of, like financially, out of using most of the products and things that I use. While yes, I am on several PR lists, I don't get paid for what I do. I don't make a lot of money on YouTube. I have done sponsorships in the past, but I don't get a lot of sponsorship opportunities. I'm not opposed to taking them, but this is just what I do regardless of getting something out of it or not. And so I just really hope that that would be apparent to you guys. And so yeah, so I think that pretty much wraps it up. And basically overall, even though I have nothing against favorites videos, I think they're awesome that people can have the ability to wrap their mind around having a new favorite every month or new favorites every month. I can't do that. I don't know, if something about it just feels like forced to me, and that's just me personally. That's a me thing and not a judgment on anybody else. I just feel like I've always had the sense of like feeling like, okay, now I need to find a new favorite for this month, and that's just not me. So I hope that explains it. if by chance anyone might be interested in an alternative kind of favorites video, because I know there's some people who do mostly beauty favorites, but there'll be like lifestyle favorites, because those are things I don't always share. I don't always get into lifestyle stuff like music or things like that, or movies or TV or books. That would be cool to share. I could possibly do favorites or what I'm loving or whatever of that, but I don't know how much interest there would be in that. You know, that'd have to be something someone like you guys really requested or wanted to see from me. Oh, but that actually reminds me to go off on a little tangent before I end this video, is that I used to do somewhat of a favorites. They weren't favorites early on in my channel, but I called them loving latelys, and I didn't even do them every month. I think I just did them every couple of months whenever there happened to be new products or new things that I was loving lately. See, even back then I couldn't call something a favorite because it was like, no, I just can't commit to the favorites thing. But these are things that I've been loving lately, that I've been showing a little extra love to, or whatever it might be. So yeah, there's that. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys found it informative and learning a little bit more about me and how to discover products that are my favorites, and my thoughts on the topic and subject, and just why I don't do favorites. So I do hope you guys found it interesting, if not informative, and feel free to share your opinions on favorites. Do you like them? Do you not like them? Do you feel the same way as I do, how it feels like kind of like it's hard to find new favorites every month? Or do you find yourself like most other people, where it's like, yes, you've discovered new favorites, you know, very frequently, and you just can't wait to share? Because I think that's really cool. It's just not who I am. But I would love to hear your guys' opinions on it. And with all that being said, again, I just want to thank you so much for watching, and until next time, much love and hugs to you. Bye, beauty babes. Mwah!